All right. How's everyone doing out there? Let's give Facebook a few moments to do its thing. I'm TC Chambers. I want to welcome you to this live. Some of you will be watching this on replay. Let's go ahead and make sure we're broadcasting. Looks like we're broadcasting here. Title this Mindset to Wealth. And we'll go ahead and start this watch party now. Facebook's going to do its thing and send that out to some folks. So right now I'm not able to see a few moments to do its thing. This volume down. I'm not going to be able to see some of you guys joining because of the way I have this particular cell phone positioned. But I sent out the message to many of you yesterday. I got crazy busy. I planned to do a post around 5 o'clock saying I was going to go back live today at 7 p.m. But many of you know, many of you are getting tagged on this now and are coming through. But I felt it. Felt moved to be able to share and to come on live. I had a wonderful experience yesterday evening. I went online and I started eavesdropping on a group of phenomenal women doing a live and got busted. So these are some leaders from different parts of the country that periodically throughout the week they get together and brainstorm and mastermind. And so I was just eavesdropping, trying to get some of their nuggets, and got busted. And so they asked me to come on their Zoom with them. And it was a wonderful experience. You know, I'll be starting a Facebook group here pretty soon. And they don't know it yet, but they're going to be some contributors to that group. So Marcy, Danette, Christina, all of you ladies, thank you for allowing me to share that experience with you last night. And you know, they all have their technical core competencies. They all have their different passions, you know, for serving people at the highest level. And they all have their different strengths. But the one thing that was evident on that mastermind last night with these ladies was their mindset and their belief and their conviction that stems from their mindset. You could clearly tell they had a I can, I will mindset. They had a wealth mindset versus a scarcity mindset. See, before someone can decide that, you know, they want to build wealth and all those things, they must first develop a certain type of mindset. And, you know, when it comes to accomplishing certain things and setting out to hit certain goals, you know, what happens is 80% of it is up here and 20% is mechanics. 80% up here and 20% mechanics. And up here doesn't necessarily mean book smarts or knowledge of that perspective, but psychology, mental toughness. You know, that's part of the reason I believe why so many people had, you know, very horrific or very challenging backgrounds and they're able to excel because of the mental muscle and the toughness that they build when they're experiencing those things. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on mindset, but it was very important for me to speak on the mindset that these phenomenal women last night all had. You can hear it when they made their comments and they shared their opinions. So we'll talk about mindset is super important. And now, it's not just the mindset that goes along with, there's a saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And, you know, I was listening to a phenomenal speaker over the weekend, and she said something that I really thought about. And she said, our brains, our minds are like a big yes man or yes woman. You know, when you tell your mind, when you say, I am fabulous, your mind goes true. I'm phenomenal, your mind goes true. I'm amazing, your mind goes true. I'm badass, your mind goes true. When you go, I'm a dud round, your mind goes true. I'm not very special, your mind goes true. So whatever you tell your mind, it searches, it pulls in from the universe to make your statement true. It does everything possible to make your statement true. So mindset going into what we're fueling, what you're trying to accomplish is essential. And it goes deeper than, again, just what you say. It's also what you believe and what you bring with you. So I want you to think about this. A poverty mindset, a scarcity mindset, has certain habits and characteristic traits that they pick up and carry with them that's different from that of a wealth mindset and what they believe and what they carry with them. And I'm going to give some examples of that, or what I believe are good examples of that. You know, some people say, well, some people have a scarcity or a poor mindset or not a money mindset, may plan 3 days. They think about surviving, hanging in there, getting by. But if you look at someone with a wealth mindset, oh, they're walking it out 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. They have an expectation to be wealthy. Simple. If there's a young kid being raised in a rich household, a rich lifestyle, does that child expect to be wealthy when they get older? I believe the expectation is there. You know, whether that'll be the reality because things happen, but the expectation is there. And everything that they're referencing, all of their inputs, their parents are teaching them to expect to be wealthy. Not to hope, not to, you know, just get by, do okay, do well, do good. No, wealthy. But on the other side, with a scarcity mentality, it's do well, do good, 30 days out, just get by. We have to shift that. Everyone has the same opportunity. I truly, truly believe that. You just have to find your lane in order to make that happen. Some people have advantages, absolutely, but they can overcome them. We have examples that have already done that. So it always comes back in my mind to here. Mindset, expectations. And we're not going to talk about the art and the science as much as just achievement itself. There's a science, I believe, to achievement. Bottom line, there's a science to it. Because if you want to build wealth, no matter what continent you live on, there's some consistencies. If you want to achieve something, no matter what continent you live on, race, creed, color, gender, there are some consistencies there. First, what you'll find common in high achievers, no matter what continent they're on, they have focus, they have clarity, laser beam focus on what they're trying to accomplish. They have commitment and conviction to accomplishing that. And it's the only option. Accomplishing, achieving is the only option. Once they have that focus, then it's a matter of execution. It's a matter of taking massive action. So a lot of times, I'm guilty of this sometimes, I'll procrastinate. I know exactly what I want to do, know exactly how to do it. I'm just slow at taking action and getting it done. I got to do better with that. It's taking those massive steps, taking massive action, effective massive action, to help you reach or achieve what you're trying to achieve. So behind that focus, you put action behind it. Now, a lot of people find this type of conversation boring because it's not a get-rich-quick conversation. It's not a microwave or lottery conversation. But without this conversation, most people don't achieve what it is that they're ultimately trying to achieve. Now, yesterday on my post talking about today, I said, 3 essentials to building wealth. And we're going to talk about those essentials, but having those essentials or knowing those essentials are irrelevant if you don't have mindset. See, a person could say they want to lose weight, have a private chef, have a gym at their disposal, have all the time in the world they need. But if they don't have the mindset and the belief that that's what they're going to do and that's what they want to do, those things don't matter. So it's the same thing with building wealth. You can know all you want exactly what you need to do, but if you don't have the mindset to get you the focus, to take massive action, to know it's not just you, you're going to need some grace in order to overcome some things you can't even foresee. So mindset is the first platform that you have to get on and master as you set your sights on what it is you're trying to accomplish. So now let's transition into the first part of the post, wealth creation, or what I talked about yesterday, the 3 components of it. So, when it comes to building wealth, there's 3 principles that, again, continentally, universally, that are applied and utilized in order for an individual, a family, a company, a society to build wealth, right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, what you're going to end up, let me use this concept to some, but many of you already understand this concept. Cash, asset, cash. So at the end of this conversation, it ended up being about cash, asset, cash. Cash being an integral part of that. So your strategy when it comes to building wealth has to understand that cash flow is essential. Cash flow is paramount when it comes to building wealth. Cash, asset, cash. Now, there's a whole bunch of other elements as you go along that play a role, but it centers around cash to build income-producing assets that bring you the cash that represents your wealth. Cash to build the real estate portfolio. Cash to build the investment portfolio. Cash to buy the fleet of mobile car wash vans. Cash to buy the fleet of food trucks. Cash to get the buildings, to get the businesses you need. They all bring you the cash flow without you having to work to live the lifestyle you desire or become accustomed to. Cash, asset, cash. So strategy, however, is significantly important. See if I can see some of the folks that's out here on this one. Is significantly important when it comes to Wayne. What's up? Victoria, what's going on? I see you out there, Michonne. So, like I said, cash is an important part of it. Let's look at the route that the masses take, because really that's who I'm talking to. A wealthy family already knows these things. They're already applying these things. They're already teaching these kids things. It's the masses that need to understand the process and understand what's keeping them from reaching their economic goals once they've already embraced the importance of mindset. All right, so the first strategy that the masses are taught to utilize is to get educated. And you can't ever get enough education. Education is important. You should always be learning. But the strategy says get some education, some skill sets, and then use that knowledge to get a job. Now, once you get that job, start working hard, work is honorable, make some money, make a living, but then you must put some of that money away, put in your retirement account, 401k, 403b, TSP, and then down the road, you're going to retire and live happily ever after. Now, that strategy on paper sounds good. That strategy when you're around a group of people, college grads and family members, that sounds good. But unfortunately, if you look at statistics of the masses that have followed that particular strategy, statistics say about 96% of the working Americans, that strategy fails for them. Why? It's not because of where they got their education from, because you can imagine if 90% of the working force, that counts in that percentage, then some of those came from your Harvard or Yale, or Temple University, University of Miami. Some of them did have college degrees. So they come and crawl all over. It's numerical and principle-based reasons why. It's almost as simple as this. And, you know, we try to make things, unfortunately, make things so complicated. If you took your children, or nieces or nephews, and you put some swim trunks on them, and you finally got them to a swimming pool or the ocean, finally got them there, and pushed them in and said swim, what's the chances of them being able to swim without getting any lessons? I know they're certain height now. They got swim trunks and bathing suits. The water's beautiful. The temperature of the pool is nice. And now you just push them in. What's the chances of them being successful at swimming? Not very well, because they weren't taught. They weren't given any lessons. So what's the chances of you taking a group of engineers, architects, scientists, teachers, lawyers, doctors, police officers, firefighters, teachers, pick a profession, and now all of a sudden you acknowledge their accomplishments, you reward them with dollars for their accomplishments, and now say, go invest your way to retirement, without giving them any education, any training on how to invest their way to success. What's a 401k? What's a 403b? What's a TSP? What's dollar cost averaging? What's compound interest? What's a stock? What's a bond? What's a CD? So it's unrealistic. Just as unrealistic it is to expect a child that all you've done for them is get them to the water, put some nice swim trunks on them or a bathing suit on them, push them in and say, go in and swim across the other side. That's not very realistic. The same as it's not very realistic to take some highly educated and talented individuals in specific areas and then tell them all to jump into the investment world and you're going to be okay. That's part of the reason. The masses aren't taught about money, about compound interest, how to put where to put it, how to make it work. The masses aren't taught about taxes, how do taxes work. Taxes, as to an employee, takes up 1/3 of their income. 1/3 of the cash flow that they need to turn into assets that's going to bring them more cash flow. The masses weren't taught about credit, how credit impacts their cash flow, how low credit score equals high interest rates for borrowing other people's money, OPM, which means less cash flow because you got to service whatever debt that is. Less cash flow to buy, build, and grow the income-producing assets that's going to bring you more cash. They weren't taught the impact of debt on your cash flow. So they don't think twice about loading up the credit cards during Christmas season. They happen to be at high interest rates. The car at high interest rates. The mortgage at high interest rates. So now more of the cash flow from their check has to go to servicing that debt. Less cash flow to buy, build, and grow those assets that's going to bring the cash flow. Cash, asset, cash. They weren't taught that those first three obstacles took up so much of your cash flow that there is not enough money to invest and save. And because they weren't taught about money, they don't realize that they aren't investing and saving enough. Lastly, they weren't taught about inflation. You don't hear many engineers and scientists and folks talking about inflation. Someone making $85,000 a year, go 3 years not getting their pay raise, they think it's okay. It's not okay, because inflation, the cost of living, how we measure the cost of living blows 3 to 4% every single year. Groceries, price of groceries go up. Gasoline goes up. The price of cost of living goes up. So what that means to your cash that you need to buy, build, and grow assets that's going to give you the cash to set you free is you have less of it. So if inflation grows at 4%, but you got a 0% pay raise last year, that means 4% more of your dollars have to go to your lifestyle, maintaining your lifestyle. That's 4% that's not going to buying, building, and growing income-producing assets. It's simple. Super simple. See, it doesn't matter what you drive, where you live, type of happy hours you attend or vacations you go on. Ultimately, is the cash coming off of your assets paying for those things? Or is it your time and labor you're exchanging for dollars paying for those things? See, once the masses understand these obstacles, then nevertheless, or needless to say, they're going to learn strategies, seek strategies to overcome them. Again, to reach that ultimate objective, cash, asset, cash. Now, to even make it even simpler, so this takes ego out of the way. Whether you make $30,000 a year, $250,000 a year, if you and your significant other have to go out to make that, then you are the money machine that's cranking out the cash flow for your lifestyle. Whatever that lifestyle is. You are the money machine. You represent that money machine that allows you to live where you live, travel where you travel, do the things you do, drive what you drive, wear what you wear. You represent the money machine that allows you to do that. So let me ask you this. If you shut the money machine down, for a year, you and your significant other, for a year, how much cash flow comes into the household? Now, the reason that's important is this. At some point, aren't you going to want to shut down the money machine? You're going to stop. At some point, you want to stop working and enjoy life. Get your 40 to 60 hours back that you're pumping into this money machine so it comes out. You're going to get that back, right? At some point, you're going to want to get that back. So your working years has to be about replacing you. Your time, your energy, your dollars have to go into replacing you as the money machine. So you have to take your time, your knowledge, and dollars and build an asset or assets, a money machine, that brings you cash when you're no longer working. Now, I've already gone a little longer than I really wanted to go, but I'm going to continue sharing some nuggets. I'm going to go over these three things. I'm just going to breeze through what these three things are, why, and then I'll come back later and go into more detail. Now, the three principles that if you apply can help you overcome those obstacles, and there's specific reasons why these three principles, wealth principles, globally are so important. Now, the first one is business ownership. Not because a lot of people are starting businesses these days. It's the in thing to do. No, it's some very specific reasons why the first step, the first pillar that you need to accomplish is business ownership. And it's for two reasons. First, renting is renting. If you have two houses, side by side, exact same houses, the mortgage on one is $1,500, the rent on the other is $1,500. You have the option to walk in today and just start paying the mortgage on one or start paying the rent on one. Now, most people are going to walk in to the one that they can just start paying the mortgage on. Why? Because they know over a period of time that mortgage is going to get paid off. The person that's paying that $1,500 mortgage payment is paying it off and will own that house. The person that's paying the $1,500 a month rent is also paying off the mortgage, but won't own the house. Nor will they own the equity that went into went in to paying it off. So renting is renting. Most people say, I want to pay the mortgage because I not only want to own the house, but I also want to own the equity. Well, if you look at your career, a person's career, because I don't want to personalize it, you look at a person's career, and if you spend 20 years working for a company, it could be multiple companies, 20 years working for a company, they're paying you because you bring value. You help grow the value of their company. Reputation, customer base. You give value and they're paying you for that. Well, at the end of the day, renting is renting. You rent it your 20 years for some dollars. At the end of those 20 years, as many accolades that you got, rings, certificates, vacations, 6 figures that you got. At the end of those 20 years, you have no value for your labor. You get no equity on what you spend those 20 years building. No long-term value of what you spent those 20 years on do you own that you could pass on to your children, your grandchildren. So you could have been the salesman or saleswoman of the year for 20 years straight. Your grandbabies don't eat off of that because all of those sales and those customers stay with that company. They don't travel with you. They don't go to you. You don't own them. So you can't will them, can't sell them, can't pass them on. There will be no baton being passed. Whereas 80 years ago, we're talking about Ford, and Ford is your last name. And you worked Ford for 40 years. You then pass on your 40 years of equity and value on to the next generation of Ford. They dropped 40 years on it. Now it's 80 years that they're now passing the baton on to the next generation. Well, in business ownership, the first principle, you start owning the equity that's built by your labor in that business. Whether it's a mom and pop business or it's a global franchise business, you begin to own equity in that labor that you put into it. That's the first equity building, owning, that you can then pass on. See, when your child graduates from college, what will you pass on? Will they start from ground zero? Or will your 10, 15, 20 years labor be stepping stones to where they begin? So forget about you. Forget about your accolades, employee of the month, employee of the quarter, employee of the year, salesman of the year, head honcho, everything to be proud of, which you should. But now your baby girl, your son graduated, you're so proud. What do you give them? Do you give them a 10, 15, 20 year head start on their peers? Or do they start at ground zero? See, did your labor build equity for them to start from? Do you pass that equity on? Those are the type of conversations we need to be having when we're playing spades. Those are the type of conversations we need to be talking about when we're putting fish on the grill or steaks on the grill, or we're out on the yachts and having fun and playing music. Those are the type of things we have to be masterminding and brainstorming about so our families can get to the next level. Because the wealthy, that's what they talk about. What they're going to be passing on to their kids, what they're instilling into their kids. Will their kids be groomed to be laborers or provide jobs for laborers? There's nothing wrong with either, but which will your child be? A laborer or provide jobs for laborers? So, equity on the labor, long-term value on the labor. Second are tax advantages. If a third of your income, you know it, you see your pay stub, if a third of your income is gone before you get yours for taxes, why aren't you doing anything about it? Why are you just taking it on the chin? It's not like you haven't heard stories. It's not like during the Trump presidency that they didn't say he wrote off millions and millions of dollars in deductions. Why didn't you say, how can I do that? Why are you still having the same amount of high taxes coming out of your pay in 2019 that you did in 2018? Why? New knowledge, new beliefs, new actions, new results. So first, you have to become a business owner, so you start owning the equity that you're building with your labor. And second, you start getting tax preferential treatment. You start keeping more of your hard-earned dollars, whether it's on a job or whether it's in a business or whether it's a combination of both. So you have those dollars to help buy, build, and grow those assets that are going to pay you the cash you need to get free. It's simple. Cash, asset, cash. It's simple. Your labor is going to build equity. Are you going to own some of it? Or is vanity, is the need for accolades going to blind you or going to supersede the fact that you should be building income-producing assets to take care of you and take care of your child? See, this type of mentality causes you to think differently about what's going to happen in 6 years when you're a sophomore in high school, then graduates from college. That mindset is going to determine in the next 6 years when the car you're driving now is paid off, do you get another car note at $300 a month, or do you drive the one you have for the next 6 years, and then what you would have paid for a car, an additional bump in insurance, what you would have paid for that, instead you're stacking it. You're investing it. Not risky, but you're making it grow. And now, when your son or daughter graduates from college, you put more behind your words of you're proud of them than just dinner, than just a hug, than just a bunch of pictures. No, no, no. When they graduate from college 6 years from now, because you sacrificed vanity, you know, the new car, so everybody see you rolling, you sacrificed and you stacked for them. Now when they graduate, you say, you know what? Here's the down payment on your first house, so they're not renting. They're building equity. Here's the down payment on your first business, so their labor starts building equity right away that they own. It's a mindset. It's a mindset of wealth. It's a mindset of expectation. Do you expect to win? Do you expect to be wealthy in one of the wealthiest countries on the face of the earth? Is that your expectation, or do you expect just to get by, just to survive? Are you a survivalist, or are you one of those individuals that have an expectation of wealth? And some people cut out this earlier when they knew we were talking about money and finance, because they have this mindset, this false belief that one, money isn't important. Money is the root of all evil. Both of those are false and limiting beliefs. Money is absolutely important. If you're a parent, inevitably, you want the absolute best for your children. The best education, the best health, the best food, the best clothes. You want the absolute best for them. So you tell me money don't have nothing to do with that? The best is free? No, the best costs more. So to say out of one side of your face that you want the absolute best for your kids, but then on the other side say money's not important, I would question your conviction to deliver the very best for your children. Because if you don't have conviction to deliver them the very best, then you're not going to have conviction to get the resources, the money needed to do it. Money is the root of all evil. Now, if you're a kind-hearted person now, my belief is if you came up on some money, a substantial amount of money, you're still going to be a kind-hearted person. If you're a knucklehead, you'll be a rich knucklehead. It makes you more of what you already are. But first is business ownership. The next is, how does your business generate revenue for you? Is it you going in? Is it necessary for you to go in every single day to work to make the cheese? Is that a necessity? So if that has to happen, even though you're a business owner, you're still the money machine, and guess what? You still got to replace you. Now, being a business owner, self-employed, it may give you the ability to make more money faster, cash flow, that you then can turn into assets that bring you more cash. But understand, if your efforts and labor are required to bring you money in your business, you are still the money machine. And that's okay. Just understand that. But if you study those that are extremely, obnoxiously wealthy and successful, they have an obnoxious bag. They make more money from other people's time, efforts, labor, money than their own. Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't out-earn his 13,000 employees. Their combined efforts make him more money than his own personal efforts. It's okay. Not a problem. The combined efforts of all the Uber drivers around the world make the owners of Uber far more money than they can ever make themselves. J. Paul Getty said he'd rather earn 1% each off the efforts of 100 people than 100% of his own. Reason being is that he knew at some point in time he wanted to stop working. So he knew that he had to replace himself. So he'd rather earn 100% of his money off 100 people's efforts than off his own. Simple. So that old adage that I work hard for every dime I make, it's something to be proud of, but it's not smart money. Because when you're no longer working, the money goes away. Whether you age out, physically you can't do it anymore. If you're leveraging on somebody else's house, they kick you out the house, downsize you, right size you, left size you, whatever you want to call it. So your business needs to give you the ability, the second principle, to earn a leveraged income. You have to earn income off the efforts of many people, like your job, the company you work for. They earn more revenue off their collective employees' labor and expertise and execution than off their self. It goes on all the time. We just aren't taught that. That's all. You know, typically there's a real estate broker make more money than a real estate agent. The broker. The broker get paid on all the houses. The realtor only get paid on the ones that they sell. That's why most realtors, when they understand the game of adultery, they want to be a broker. They want to get paid houses off mansions. They don't sell. Villas, they don't sell. They don't people sell. Second, following suit with that in that same principle on how your money comes into your business, there's so many examples of people doing work one time and then they continue to get paid off that same book of business over and over and over and over and over again. See, it's easier to grow the revenue per customer than it is to acquire new customers. You take a Netflix. They get you as a customer one time, and they make money month after month after month after month off the same book of business. It's simple. Now, we see that with cell phone carriers. Look at the cable companies. I'm going to stop at the cable companies. How it's easier to make more money off an existing client than it is to get new clients. The cable companies first started out providing just cable, internet access, phone service now, alarm systems. They call it bundling. I call it increasing what you're earning off each customer as you go. It's easier to make more money off an existing customer, to increase the value per cart for an existing customer than it is to get a new customer. So all you have to do is model and copy that. So you have a business. Your business earns you significant revenue off the efforts of many, as well as income monthly off the same book of business. Leveraged income, residual income. And then lastly, and I'm done, I'm gonna close out here because I can always come back and go over those individually, is that it does not make sense for you to start a business today where people can come into your store and rent videos. That trend done came and went. So you have to do business in areas, in industries that are doing this. And ideally in multiple industries that are doing this simultaneously. So in other words, you have to do business in red hot trends and ride them and ride multiple trends simultaneously. And what you will find that income grows fast, goes through the roof. Wealth is generated rapidly. And because you're following trends, it's sustainable. One example, I'm done. I appreciate all the time that you've spent with me and that you've given me. I value that. Apple today, if they decided that in 3 days on Friday, they were going to launch the iPhone 15, right? They're going to sell it for $1,000 each. Worldwide launch in 3 days. Well, unless you've been living under a rock, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to do at least 1 million units. They're going to sell a minimum of 1 million units come Friday. Well, they would have generated $1 billion of revenue in 1 day. 1 billion with a B. So it's built quickly and fast. So this thing about, well, you know, it's going to take me 50 years. No. Business moves fast. It respects and embraces speed. You just have to make sure you follow the principles that do that. That you take massive action. That your conviction and belief is in the right place. That you have laser beam focus. That when you say I am, it's empowering your brain. It's energizing and igniting your brain. When you're saying I am, you're saying I am going to soar. I am going to reach these heights. I am going to be successful. I am badass. I am a creator. I am an empowerer. So your I ams are going to be powerful and positive. So I brought it all the way back around to mindset. But the business part of it is cash, asset, cash. Cash, asset, cash. Cash, asset, cash. Business ownership, equity, tax advantages for cash. Leveraging other people's time, knowledge, expertise, residual income for cash. Following trends to sustainable, fast cash. Cash, asset, cash. So thank you for spending time with me. I know I get a little long-winded because I have a passion for this topic, as you can tell. And whenever I have your time, it is my goal and my objective to serve you at the highest possible level, bring as much value in this short period of time as I possibly can. And I pray and hope that I did that for you. So I thank you for your time. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'll post some links at the end that you can get some more for it. But this really wasn't about to sell you something. It was about to get you to think differently, to empower you with movement, to take action about empowering your mind, to empower you. To 80% is psychology, 20% is mechanics. Embrace that and know that that I am that you're saying every single day, you want to be positive and powerful. Take care, your boy TC. I'm out. Oh, let's check out some of the folks we have here with us. See who we got here. Spend a little time with us. Cedric Cage, what's happening? Milagro. ¿Cómo estás? Eldridge, what's happening? Nicole Jones, what's up? What's up? I'm happy to be doing this for you guys. Clarence, June William, cuz, what's happening? Doing this from sunny South Florida, except it's nighttime now, so there's no sun out right now. So again, I appreciate you all that you're on live now, all that you've watched this on the replay. If you're still on and live, give me a hashtag live. And if you've watched this through replay, hashtag replay. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Your boy TC. I'm out. Peace.